David defeats Goliath. This is the Valley of Elah. In Israel, water flows when it rains, but it's completely dry in the dry season. Saul, the king of Israel, won the battle against Ammon, but wasn't doing so well in the battle with Philistines. Philistines was a nation which made weapons with iron and fought well in wars. In addition, there was a Philistine general named Goliath, who was almost 3 meters tall. Israel's soldiers rarely dared to fight Goliath. David came to the Valley of Elah because he was running an errand for his dad, which was to take food to his 3 brothers who were fighting in the battle. When David got to the battlefield, he was probably quite shocked to see how exhausted the Israel soldiers looked. At that time, while all the soldiers took part in fighting in the battle, sometimes the strongest man from each side stepped out to fight and determine which army won the battle. David heard that Goliath had been shouting day and night for 40 days, proposing a one-on-one match. So all the Israel soldiers were scared and afraid. But David was different. No matter how big, strong, and scary Goliath was, he thought that anyone who insults God should be stopped. David was a shepherd who led his father's sheep. Whenever big frightening lions or bears appeared and took the sheep, David would follow the animal to the end and attack its weakness. That's how he protected his sheep. So David was sure that Goliath would have his own weakness. Then he said to the people around him, "I will fight Goliath." So David stood before King Saul. People took David to King Saul, who then asked David about his will to fight, and then got him ready for the fight. He gave David the king's helmet, armor, and weapons. David tried them on and felt so uncomfortable that he told Saul, "No matter how good the king's weapons are, they're not comfortable for me. I'll fight in my own way." David took the sticks and stones he carried to care for his sheep. Then he picked out 5 smooth stones out of the stones scattered in the valley. Goliath laughed at the sight of a little boy holding a stick. He said scary and cruel things to him, like, "I'm going to feed you to birds and wild animals." But David spoke boldly. "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied." Then, running towards Goliath, David loaded a stone, then flung it at Goliath. What do you think happened then? Do you think the sword and spear and javelin won the fight? Or do you think God's name won the fight? David's sling hit Goliath and a stone got stuck in his forehead. Goliath fell to the ground. When Goliath fell, the Philistines began to run away. That day, Israel won a big victory against Philistines. The armies of both Philistines and Israel thought one can win the battle if they are big, strong, and have powerful weapons. But one person, David, thought differently. He believed that it was up to God who wins and loses in a battle. And God confirmed David's faith in his victorious fight against Goliath.